You imagine rigidity as equating to sustain. Take a Les Paul, a solid body electric guitar with this big, thick neck. It's got this really rigid body, the strings anchored really solidly to it. You pluck that note, and man, it has a lot of sustain. It goes for a really long time. And then on the other end of that spectrum, you think of the need for volume. And that's all coming from air movement. To do that, I need something very flexible. So if I had a Les Paul on this side, I could think of banjo on this side. You have the strings sitting on this super flexy drum head that make an enormous amount of volume with a note that lasts like this long, right? And that's the world that guitar makers tend to live in. We have to compromise between these two opposing forces. Well, if I don't want a compromise, I mean, both of these are good qualities. I don't want to have to compromise them. Unless it was divided. If I divide it, then something can have opposing characteristics. You could have stiffness parallel to the strings to get the sustain and the rigidity that you wanted. You could have flexibility on either side to get the air movement that you wanted. So with a lot of conventional guitars, the way the top is moving is really all over the place. And we think of it wanting to move like a speaker cone, but that's not really how it moves in real life. With this guitar, it's motion inclined towards order. When I think of sour notes, the common experience is a guitar that isn't quite in tune. If you think of intonation and think of what the word means, it's in tune, the in-tuneness of those notes. That's where the word intonation comes from. Some things just can't be in tune. And that's because the notes that we actually play are a little bit wrong. They're a little off. And when they're a little different, there's a little friction there. They kind of rub. And it comes across as a little bit of disharmony between the notes that we're playing and what the guitar is actually capable of delivering. In some ways, you could call it like a new sonic engine or a new sonic driver, but it changes the way we hear our guitar. That's really what's going on here, is it's producing notes in different ways. You can take away some of the chaos, the friction, the conflict. What you get is balance, is every note has the same power and the same quality of character. So now, as a player, rather than hitting a big open position chord and just hearing and appreciating the power of that low end, the whole guitar's register has that level of responsiveness where you could play high on the fingerboard and enjoy the same powerful expression everywhere. I think of the volume and the sustain and the projection, the intonation, the balance. All of these things add up to freedom for a musician. They give you a freedom of expression that we haven't heard in our guitars before.